On the Montana plains, a frontier woman must protect herself against a ruthless gang of outlaws bent on revenge. Terror on the Prairie stars Gina Carano in her first performance since the unceremonious cancellation from Disney Lucasfilm for Wrong Thing. Going into this film, I worried about an explicitly conservative news organization, the Daily Wire, creating content to counter woke Hollywood. I was afraid that they'd play it cookie cutter safe, like weirdo Christian entertainment I grew up with, that was just as much propaganda as liberal media, or that they'd interject forced plots that would validate their specific politics. If you too worried about this, let me put your minds to ease. Terror is an apolitical, tense, entertaining film that deserves a high rank in the Western genre. It's a simple film with a simple plot. Homesteaders scraping for survival, the husband decides to go to town in search of work for hire. Meanwhile, the wife and 2 children show hospitality for some men passing by when it's discovered they're killers with ill intent. Much of the film takes place afterward with a tense standoff between the homesteading woman and children and the assailants, while we also discover the depth of Nick Cersei's villain and see the husband carry on unawares before coming back home. Aside from the setback this film has for itself coming from Daily Wire, eliciting a coordinated campaign of leftist reviewers refusing to see the film and give honest criticism, the other thing that hinders this film is Gina Carano. First off, with Daily Wire being conservative, it's already got a huge uphill battle for anyone to give it a chance. You had Gina Carano, who's been a hot topic, the biggest cancellation I can think of, really cementing like don't cross certain lines or you will be unpersoned by Hollywood. The other reason I think it's a big issue, aside from the cancellation, the reasons why, calling her a Nazi, calling her a transphobe, the other reason for me, Carano's a hindrance, is because her name is used for the stardom of this film. Deservedly so. She is the focus of the film, but I think the real star of the movie is Nick Cersei. His villain really, I think, makes and rounds out this whole film. Otherwise, if he was just two-dimensional, it would feel like, well, great, we're doing like a 50s movie with no real depth or intrigue. But no, it was really good. I think no one's really giving him the credit because, unfortunately, there is this two-side factor, this polarization of Carano, where you either simp for her unapologetically because she validates your political view and being someone in Hollywood who sacrificed her career and is now working uphill like Daily Wire to make a name for herself. That's admirable. I like Carano for that. But I think there's this kind of weird simp campaign for her that isn't fair in reviewing her roles, her history in Hollywood, and her in this film in particular. I think, and of course the other side, call her Nazi, call her transphobe, and that is all you need. Don't talk about her. Don't have an honest opinion about, I think, a pretty good, entertaining film that is apolitical. There's no real left or right in this film, although I kind of agree with Steven Crowder. Good storytelling usually has some sort of base conservative root to it, because there's a set of rules for whatever world we're in, and usually it's someone that wants to break the rules. They think they're above the law, and they get by, and so we see our hero challenge that and try to set things right for the world or himself, get a fair shake. Yeah, I think that does kind of lend itself to that. But Carano, in my opinion, has not been a great actress. She's been just okay. She's not really been in a role that has to emotionally work. Haywire is a very dry, boring character, but she's doing a lot of cool stunt work, fights and stuff. That's the whole point of the movie. That's fine. And then she didn't really do anything until Deadpool 2, and that's a very minor role, using her fighting stardom to bring her in, and I think she worked well for that. And Mandalorian is kind of the same. You get, a bigger chick. It's got some fighting personality. This was the vision of Favreau. It's who he cast, and she works for that, but there's no range to the character. And unfortunately, I think Carano in this film is serviceable. She works fine for this role. It's like Keanu Reeves. They made a good role for her with not much. There's not much Carano specific that is like, wow, she really pushed the boundaries of her talent. I don't know what that range is, and I don't think this film really challenges that. She seems sometimes overly calm in the scenario that I don't think would necessarily be organic for at least most women. Most guys too. I think they'd be a little more frantic. I think there'd be more range of fear and whatnot. So little things like that bother me. Also her body type. Like I noticed like, wow, you know, they really got the whole setting well. They got this very simple, rugged homesteader cabin. Looks great. Their attire is, you know, worn repeatedly. And I just noticed her body, her build. She's like, having been in UFC, she's kind of jacked for a normal lady. And I think, you know, the homesteading, having to travel from Missouri to Montana and scrape a survival, I think that makes her body type plausible. But I think her body type kind of limits her in the believable role she can be in, aside from her lack of range acting thus far. But I do think she did well for the role she's given. Unfortunately, if you say this, you have this middling take, people might jump you for not just being head over heels for her. Again, I think Nick Cersei's a real make or break. And then the comedian guy, that's one of the villain lackeys. He also was a standout in this film. Good range from all of them. I think this is his first acting gig for Cowboy Cerrone, something like that. I can never remember that guy's name. He did well. Again, I think this film, aside from Nick, no one really had a challenging role acting-wise. And it's okay, though, because it's a simple movie. You didn't need it. I think they utilized something to everyone's advantage. And what a great first step for the Daily Wire. You know, before this, they had What is a Woman, which is an amazing documentary. Even if you hate everything it says, I think you can't deny the quality it was made and the way they led you on a narrative path. And then you have this first real kind of commercial attempt with Terror on the Prairie that I think just, it feels good, feels legitimate. There's some wrongdoing, some bystanders, so you're rooting for Carano's character to get justice. Everything, all emotions you'd want in this movie. For the scenario, I think it totally does well. And yeah, I liked how they did Nick Cersei's character. Spoilers specifically for this. You're wondering, like, okay, they just want to like rape and pillage. It turns out a lot more to it. They want her alive, and you're wondering, like, what's the deal, man? They're getting shot. At some point, you think you just kill her, but no, they need her as bait, because it turns out the husband was a Reb. And he was at some point turncoat, and they were out to kill, I assume, Nick Cersei and his posse, but it was his family killed his daughter, and so he's got nothing left but revenge, clearing the horde, clearing the board of everyone that has wronged him. So he's got this kind of righteous, understandable goal, and I like that. That's again what I was fearing with this film, that they might do this kind of simple 50s Western but modern production value with no kind of moral ambiguity. And this did well, and it's cool because the villain has some lines he won't cross, but he understands the gray area of delegation to get the same results. It was good. I think it's unfair that Nick Cersei does not get the credit he deserves for this film. It really was his movie. Yeah, that's what I got for you. I really liked it. I want to see more from Daily Wire. I'd love if they could do something like Drive Across Concrete, something like Mel Gibson did. But yeah, have you seen Daily Wire's Terror on the Prairie? If so, what did you think? Favorite parts, best character? Yeah. So next time, talk to you later.